$125 years ago next month was a very significant day in the development of the motor car, because that's the day that the founder of the Mercedes-Benz company filed his patent for the first motor car. So there'll be a lot of celebrations next year, just next month indeed, when that anniversary comes around. I've seen that original car. It's a spindly thing with tall wheels, wires and bits of wood, and looks just like what it was, a horseless carriage carrying two people. They've come a long way since. This is probably one of their more desirable mid-range luxury cars, the E-Class Coupe. There's a fascination for cabrios in these islands. In fact, you might think that the biggest market for folding hardtops or folding soft tops like this one would be in sunny climes, but it's not. The two biggest markets in Europe are in fact England and Germany. Now, this isn't a car for the weather we're having these days, unless you kind of really like to rough it in a luxury car. But the roof opens when you want to, and it opens very smoothly, very simply and very quickly by just a lift of one button here. So it also works pretty fast, and for the first time in this version of the car, you can actually do it with the car on the move as well, at speeds of up to about 40 kilometers an hour. That's pretty useful in this climate when you might get a sudden shower and you want to put it down again quickly before you can get a chance to stop. Usually in a Mercedes-Benz you get a fairly decent amount of boot space, because people who like to travel in Mercedes-Benzes on long trips usually have a lot of luggage. Not in this one, they won't. It's quite compromised because the mechanism and the folded roof itself takes up a fair bit of space. That said, I've seen worse, but you would want to pack in a Ryanair way really to travel in this one. It's a strange thing, but these days it's hard enough for an elite or prestige car manufacturer to keep ahead of the posse in terms of how luxurious the car might be, because the interiors of mass market cars are actually right up there in many cases as well. People buying mass market cars want the same kind of comfort, want the same kind of finish that you can get in a prestige car. So the prestige cars like Mercedes-Benz have to try and go that little extra mile to make things that little bit more comfortable or more technologically advanced inside. Mercedes-Benz in their current E-Series cars brought in quite a lot of different technologies. A lot of them allied for safety, a lot of them were for comfort. And the safety ones include, for instance, a mechanism of sensors that in your car, when you're traveling over a long distance, or maybe traveling late at night, it monitors how you're feeling, it monitors the way you're driving, and it can detect that you might be getting tired. And if it does detect that, a little coffee mug pops up in the instrument panel to tell you, go stop and have a cup of coffee. Now, hasn't happened to me yet, but I suspect that in Ireland it would pop up probably only miles and miles and miles away from the nearest coffee shop. Purists who like their cabrios usually like to have them soft top like this, whereas the trend has been towards the steel roof, the folding hardtop, but that they're heavier, and they're more expensive, and they take up a bit more room in the boot too, and as we saw earlier, there isn't that much room in the boot of this one. This soft top though, it doesn't suffer from noise because you've got this insulation here that keeps the noise out, and also at the same time keeps the heat in. And on the heat, if you're traveling with the roof down, which is the whole idea of the car, to do so when you can, even in cold weather, they have a few other gimmicks on it that will make you more comfortable. For all 4 passengers in the car, they do have the warm air system that hits you around the neck when you're traveling with the roof down. I do like the layout of the instruments on the current range of Mercedes-Benz. There are some very simple things that all manufacturers should follow, but they often don't. One is, the most important instrument is your speedometer. In this case, it's right in the middle of the instrument cluster. It's right in front of you, and you don't have to look your way around anything else to find out the exact speed you're driving and anything else that's important. Another nice thing too, and it appeals to perhaps the old-fashioned in me, and that's the other dial to the left, which is a lovely big analog clock. It's a really nice feature of current Mercedes-Benz cars. The multifunction steering wheel, they've brought it to a fine art. You've got your various controls here to look after your phone on and off, your volume controls for the radio, the usual things. But it's very well done here. It's very everything is intuitive and won't take an awful lot of learning to manage. The car is available with a manual transmission, but no dealer that I've spoken to so far has actually sold one. They've all been automatic, like this one here. And modern automatics are really efficient, and you can use them manually if you wish, either by shifting the shifter on the tunnel into a manual session, or you can use them by means of these paddles on the back of the steering wheel. This one here would bring you down a gear manually, and this one here would bring you up a gear, so you can do your shifting there. They advertise it just like a Formula 1 driver, but that's a bit. I don't think that's for this level of car. It's just a very efficient way of changing gears. But it works very, very well if you're traveling on twisty, turny mountain roads where the automatic shifter really needs to be done manually, and this is really a good way of doing it. No more than any other manufacturer these days, Mercedes-Benz has been doing quite a lot to improve the efficiency of their cars. CO2 is king these days, and this car has a new range of engines. It's a diesel, 2.1 litre diesel engine, and it's a pretty good one. The version in this test car is a 167 horsepower. It is C rated for CO2 tax bands, but it's a smooth performer. It's a nice engine, and for the size and the level of the car, it's quite economical. In fact, pretty economical altogether. Most manufacturers have a label for their various efficiency technologies, and Mercedes-Benz call theirs Blue Efficiency. The entry-level price for the E-Class Cabrio is in or around the 52,000 mark. But this one, with leather, with the multifunction steering wheel, with some other bits and pieces, well, they've added somehow 20 grand to that. So you're looking at 72,000 euros for this particular version here. Well, there we go. Even in this weather, a quick look at how Mr. Benz's car has come along in a century and a quarter. I wonder what he'd think if he was alive today and saw the E-Class Cabrio, and how would it compare to the car that he put the patent on. In one way, the two cars were very alike. Both were open to the elements. At least this one is with the roof down. And I suppose to see in some way what his car was like to drive, I'm going to head off with the roof down, even in the weather. Bye, see you next week.